Welcome back, everybody. My name is Taylor Martin. This is the best Damn EDC, and about 2 years ago, I believe, right at it, I did a video on an urban survival Altoids tin, just my take on this age-old video concept. And to no surprise, I never actually carried this thing. I think I might have thrown it in my truck for maybe a month and then forgot about it forever. In fact, I found this tin and it was empty in my drawer. So recently, as I explained, I've been thinking more about something like this because of that bushcraft event I went to, and I don't like something like this being in my pocket because it's rigid and uncomfortable, and I thought, you know, these pouches are becoming exceedingly popular now. They're everywhere. People love them. They love the patches on the outside and customizing them or whatever. But I thought about applying this age-old concept to something a little more new and current and fresh, and it being a little more pliable. Maybe it would be something I could actually integrate into my daily carry. Verdict's still out on that. I definitely have been carrying this for the last week, and it's definitely turned out a little thicker and chunkier than I expected originally, but time will tell if this becomes something I actually carry every day. But regardless, this is my take on an urban survival pouch, so to speak. I'm going to show you what's inside, and with that said, let's do the damn thing. So for the longest time, I've had this in my backpack. I've talked about this mighty pouch for a while, and I have carried this in my pocket some. This is a lot of stuff that I don't really need on a daily basis, and this thing is just overkill, excessive, and it's big and heavy in the pocket. I mean, the Mighty Pouch Plus is still quite big. I mean, when you fold this up, zip it up, and put it in your pocket, that is quite large and heavy. Just because you have so much room, I'm inherently going to throw more into it. This is too much, right? I'm not going to throw this in my pocket. So there were some constraints right out of the gate that I wanted to apply to this, something that I actually will throw in my pocket. And I don't think I knocked it out of the park. Just to get that out of the way right off the bat, this thing turned out thicker. I wanted it to be smaller than an actual Altoids tin, and it's not. It's actually thicker, it's longer, it's wider, it's bigger in almost every dimension, but that being said, it is pliable and not so totally rigid that it's super uncomfortable in your pocket, and it's still relatively lightweight. It is considerably lighter than the Mighty Pouch. I mean, I've got everything thrown in this. I've got pocket trash and stuff I don't need. This, I think there's still some stuff in here that I don't necessarily need, but it's stuff that I would rather have on me and never need it than to not need it. And wait, what is that? I'd rather have things and not need them than need them and not have them. That's what I'm trying to say. So as I mentioned, one of the downsides to using one of these tins is you're confined to this very rigid space. So not only do you have to find things that fit within this width and this length, it cannot be taller than this or it wants to push this thing open, and then you've got to worry about how to keep it closed. And sometimes they rattle around and stuff. I just never ended up really wanting to use this tin. On the flip side, you can really kind of push the limits of these pouches because they're so pliable and flexible, and they will kind of conform to the size and shape of the stuff you put inside. So right off the bat, obviously you've got some hook and loop on the front, and you can put some patches on the outside. They add to the thickness, which I would rather this thing be a lot thinner, but whatever. It's already a thick boy. I might as well just own it and just make it as thick as I possibly can, which is basically what I did. But originally these ZF pouches do not come with any kind of zipper pull, so it's just a plain zipper. You definitely want to put some sort of zipper pull or lanyard or something on there. He has these in a bunch of different colors, and he's coming out with stuff all the time now, which is really cool to see, but I really like the size of this one because it remains really pocket friendly. Basically, even when it's loaded, it still fits in a jacket pocket or pants pocket pretty comfortably. Regardless, I added my own zipper pull, and this is actually an EXOTAC tinder pull that I put in one of my unusual EDC gear videos. I actually really like this thing because it looks like a standard zipper pull. It's bright orange, which matches the inside of this pouch, but it's also tinder. So if you needed fire, you could cut this open, tear off a little bit of this cord, and the core is actually very, very good tinder. You can just fray it a little bit, throw a spark into it, and you've got a fire starter, which is very nice. And this is a ZF bead, just a Lil Nuke And the reason I threw this Lil Nuke bead on here is mainly if I do lose this thing and I hit this with a flashlight, that's gonna kind of shine bright. I do wish it were like a glow bead or tritium, but I didn't have any glow beads or tritium to throw on here. So I put this one on. Next best thing, but we're gonna pull this out first just to get it out of the way. This is something that you guys know. Every day I carry a multi-tool, the SOG PowerPint. I really like it, and I wish Leatherman or someone else had a compatible tool to this, but it's built okay. Quality control is not as great as some other multi-tools, but the feature set that's in this is exceptionally great. I really like having this size pliers in my pocket, so this goes in the pocket every day. Do I need another multi-tool? Not really, but this does have scissors, but the scissors on this kind of suck. They're not good. They work, but they're not good. So I took it upon myself to throw the Leatherman Micra in here because these scissors are quite good. The rest of the tool set on this, I'm probably never ever gonna use. You've got a Phillips driver, a very small flathead-ish with a bottle opener and some really bad tweezers. These tweezers are not very useful. The other side, you've got just a plain edge blade. It is chisel ground. And then you have a file with a fingernail cleaner tool and another flathead. And that's it. There are rulers and stuff, but nobody ever really uses the rulers on the handles of a multi-tool. It's not that handy. But Leatherman Micra stays in the pouch, and I'm gonna keep this out because I think it's crucial to some other stuff I have in here. But the Micra could go, for sure. And I could slim this down without the Micra, but I found that with or without the Micra or other multi-tools that I've thought about putting in here doesn't really make a difference because the space is already there. So all you're adding is just a little bit of weight from the Micra, and it's very, very lightweight. The next piece is just like a little grooming kit. So first up, we'll take this out. This is called the Toothpick, and it is a very, very tiny titanium toothpick. Now, I've bought a bunch of these titanium toothpicks, and most of them are just entirely too sharp. They would hurt if you tried to use them as an actual toothpick. This one isn't the case. It's a little dull. It's pretty sharp, but it's not. I mean, some of those are literally needle sharp, and this is not. This is actually a little blunted on the end, which is nice. And it's extremely small. Most of the other ones are, very long. So I like having something super compact, but if I need a toothpick in a pinch, there it is. Very, very, very small, hides way well. The other two things here are things you've seen in my videos countless times now. Uncle Bill's sliver grippers. As I mentioned, the tweezers on the Leatherman Micra are hot garbage. These tweezers are great and very affordable. You can get a 2-pack for like $7. Really, really great. They do normally have a clip that goes on the end, but I've found that just putting an O-ring on it works a little better for space savings and just making it a little more compact. I prefer having just an O-ring over the end, but very, very good tweezers to have for any situation. I really like having the Uncle Bill's. And then the Munkees fingernail clippers, very compact. I did grind off the loop for the lanyard or the keychain ring. Never put this thing on my keychains. I'm never gonna put them on my keychains, but I always have them in some sort of pouch or something nearby. So Munkees, a lot of you have said that you don't like these because they're so small and almost unusable. I disagree. The only thing I wish is that it had a better fingernail file. I mean, this thing is so tiny. So the Leatherman Micra actually might come in handy for that as well. But as far as this, I think these three things are probably gonna get the most use out of anything in this pouch, if I'm completely honest. Next up, we've got this, we have some hair ties. These are not for tying up my hair. I am growing my hair out, but it is not quite long enough for hair ties yet. These are just for if you need to tie something up or use like a rubber band or something. The reason I put these in here instead of rubber bands is they tend to last a little better and longer, and they don't dry rot as bad. So hair ties go in instead of rubber bands. I just found them to be a little more reliable. And then this was originally just gonna be a stash container for who knows what, but I ended up wrapping some Gorilla Tape around it. This stuff can be used as tinder if you need to start a fire. So dual purpose if you need tape or tinder. But in the bottom, this is like a little fire kit, sort of. In the bottom, I do have a tiny little Ferro Rod, which works surprisingly well. You would think that something this small would not be very useful, but it is. You can throw sparks with it, and what I used to throw sparks is actually still in the pouch. But in one side, we've got that, and then the other side, we have a few things. And this is one of those situations where I'm gonna need another tool to get the other stuff out. So we have a sim removal tool. We have a needle, like a heavy duty needle, and then there's another one right here. So the purpose of these needles is very similar to like a toothpick. If you need to poke something, if you need to hit a reset button, the sim tool goes for that as well. I've just found these things to not be very durable, but they're handy when you need them, and these are just kind of poking, prodding, little itty bitty things. I end up finding myself needing something like this more often than you would believe or think, but if we can use one of these needles to get down in here, I do have something else. Stuff down in here, I have a little cotton swab. And probably more cotton than you would have expected to be in such a little thing. And mainly this is for just if I need to start a fire. It's not soaked in anything, but it will still burn and catch a spark. So it is handy, and I don't know what else I would use it for other than starting a fire. But how often am I gonna need to start a fire? Hopefully never, but if I need to, I at least have a few options for starting a fire. So just one of those things that the bushcraft people kind of instilled in me, is the ability to survive in situations that you wouldn't expect and hope for, right? You don't hope to ever need to have to start a fire, especially in an urban survival kit, but I'd rather have at least 1 to 2 options for starting a fire. So shove this back down in there, as well as these. There's a tight squeeze on all this, but I could definitely fit more. All right, next up, this is one of the reasons I said the PowerPint is kind of vital to this setup, because this is one of the bulkier items I keep in this pouch, and this is the Leatherman Ratchet. So really handy little driver that works with a Leatherman, but you can also put it in a 1/4-inch bit driver, like coincidentally the SOG PowerPint has in the end, and this is now a very handy screwdriver, ratcheting screwdriver at that, in a very compact package. This stays in my pocket. If I need the driver, it's right there in the pouch, and you can have a very, very handy tool. The downside is I don't want to carry a whole bunch of bits in this pouch, so I have this double-sided titanium pocket bit from Big Idea Design. This has a magnet for bit retaining inside, but this is titanium, so this bit does not stay in the driver. So it's eventually going to get lost. I can tell you that now. And if anybody knows where I can find a bit like this right here that's made out of steel, just let me know in the comments down below. I bought the dual-sided bit from CountyComm, and the problem is it's even smaller than this, and you have to use pliers to get the bit out of the driver because it's so far receded in there and you do not have a lot of clearance. Like, this bit is very similar to a standard bit when it's inside, right? The overall length of this is like a standard bit. The CountyComm bit, I would say, ends about right here. So when you put this in here, the Phillips or flathead is really only sticking out like 1/8 of an inch, and there's not enough clearance for it to be useful. So if you can think or know of a titanium, not titanium, a stainless steel or just steel bit that would stick in here and stay, that's dual-sided, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to have a couple of bits down in the pouch, which is not ideal, but regardless, this right here is a really, really great setup to have on you. I mean, I can't think of a better setup for a small set of like pliers, a multi-tool, and a ratcheting screwdriver. Like, that's very compact and very, very handy. All right, next up, this is, you guys know that I typically carry the Big Idea Design TPT slide. This is what comes with the TPT slide. And one of the reasons they can ship these things internationally is because they don't ship them with the blades. They ship them with this little insert. It's dull on one side, so it is a TSA approved blade insert. It is not sharp in any way. And then this is considered like a camp fork, which I've used one time as a fork. But really why I have this in here is typically I have this in my pocket, and if I did need this fork option, it's not the greatest fork in the world, but it would work. But really what I keep this for is, since we were talking about this a second ago, these little itty bitty ferro rods are really kind of hard to strike, because you've got to be able to hold on to this and strike. So having something where you can hold this blade or hold against this and strike is way easier. I was throwing this yesterday. There we go. Way easier if you've got something to hold like this, and having that hard 90-degree angle on just makes throwing a spark way easier. You could do it with just a standard blade as well, right? But the ones I carry are coated, and I haven't even tried with one of these. So let's try it. Yeah, see, these are coated and they don't want to throw the sparks right. So I could carry a different blade in my tool, but I like the Tajima because they don't rust as bad. And this is like not having anything in there at all. It's just forgettable in there, but when I need it, it's something I can just, I know it works with the tool I've already got in my pocket, and I could throw sparks without having the TPD slide too. Like, it's possible. You've just gotta really hold on to stuff. Anyway, the blade insert is in there because of that. All right, next up we've got something I also talked about in a previous unusual EDC gear video, and that is the KableCARD. So this can act as a stand for a smartphone. It can also, if you turn it this way and plug it in, works as a wireless charger for a smartphone. But when you flip it over, you've got all of these little bits and bobs, and it's just a mishmash of cable connections and adapters. So first you have this, which is a USB-C to USB-C cable, but this cable on this end plugs into this KableCARD. So what that means is now this is how that becomes a wireless charger. You plug this in, this right here becomes the wireless charger. You've also got a little three emitter LED on the underside that can work as bias lighting or a little impromptu flashlight if you've got this plugged into like a little power bank or something. It can work as an LED. You've got a card reader here as well, so you can plug this into your computer or tablet or phone, and you've got a micro SD card slot right there with 256 gig card in there. Push that, and you can read your micro SD card. So storage, wireless charger, and a universal cable kit. So you've got USB-A, you have a lightning adapter, and a micro USB adapter. So you've got all of this stuff. So if you don't have a USB-C charger on you, you plug the USB-A in, and now you can plug this whole thing into USB-A. It's just really brilliant. It all comes together so well, and it's packed. I don't think it could be packed in here in a more efficient way. It's just all crammed in so tight. And when you need to pack it all up, run that cable around the outside, pop that down, pop that down, pop that down. So there we have the KableCARD. And before I go to the next thing, I had thought about putting this in there. This is the Lever Gear CableKit. So kind of a similar concept, right? You have a USB-A to lightning cord, and then you have an adapter that takes it from lightning to USB-C. And they also sell this in a micro USB form if you don't need a lightning cord. And then you have a SIM removal tool stored here. The reason I didn't go with this, logically, just looking at this, it looks like this would save a lot of space over this, but it really doesn't, because this is thicker than the KableCARD, and I don't know, I put them both in there and tried to organize around it. And the amount of stuff you get out of the KableCARD versus the CableKit, I'm gonna go with the KableCARD over the CableKit. Next up, seasonal allergies here in North Carolina, as anybody will attest, even Megan here. It's awful. Pollen is really awful. So I have 2 doses of Zyrtec, and then I have 1 800 milligram dose of Ibuprofen, just in case I get a headache or whatever is, my back's been bothering me lately. Just having something like this on hand, just a little dose of what I need. These are the only medications I really ever take. So just having them on my hand is something I like to have, whether it be in this or in my truck or wherever. We're almost getting to the end here, actually. So next up is just a little microfiber cloth. Nothing special, just wiping screens down or whatever it may be, reducing a little bit of the rattle from all this stuff. But I do sometimes carry a microfiber hank in my back pocket, but it's just nice to have a separate one just in case. Next to the last thing is this. It goes along with the hair ties, but just some zip ties, really small zip ties. They can be used for zipping something up and tying it away. I use them on my truck a lot. I obviously have some stored in my truck as well, but just having a little zip tie here and there, very, very handy. And finally, I think that is the last thing. Just a little boo-boo kit for the most part. So a Ziploc bag with 2 alcohol prep pads, 2 larger bandages, and then a Goody's extra strength. I did have more Goodies in here, but Alex stole it from me. So yeah, that's one of the ways this has come in handy. Last night she had a headache and she's like, do you have any Goodies on you? And I'm like, you're gonna steal my Goodies right before I go shoot this video. So I had to throw this nearly expired Goodies pack in here, but I had the orange flavor. The orange flavor is so great. This is disgusting.
I feel great. I have the hangover.
I don't need your hangover goodies, Megan. That's pretty much it. So just the things that I think I would need, you know, the things I would rather have on me than not have. And if I did need them, it's good to have them there. Now, what are the odds I'm gonna need this stuff on a very regular basis? Honestly, hopefully not very often, but there are things that I do need pretty regularly, right? Like I clip my nails once a week, so these are gonna get used once a week. So I think these things are the sort of things that I would use fairly regularly. I'd say a couple times a week, I'm gonna open up this pouch to grab something out of it. So yeah, it's more of a, you know, just in case sort of pouch. So there you have it. That's what I keep inside my little pouch that I've been carrying for about a week now. We'll see what stays, how I change it over time. Maybe I'll do an update on this in like 6 months or something, see if I'm actually still carrying it or not. We'll see how it fares. Not sure, maybe I'll find a different pouch that's bigger or smaller, accommodates the same stuff better. I don't know, we'll see. But it's just gonna be kind of a work in progress, influx sort of thing. But since we have it all out, I might as well put it all back in. So first starts with the little boo-boo kit. That goes in the very, very back, followed by the microfiber, and then the cable card. And then at the very top, we put in the zip ties. Kind of hides up underneath everything, and then the pack of medicine goes up there too. Then next goes in the ratchet, and the TPT slide insert. We got the hair ties, the little grooming kit, and the Leatherman Micra, and it zips shut like little zip ties in the way, like so. There you have it. That is my little ZF pouch EDC urban survival kit. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this, what you'd do differently, whether you carry a pouch like this or not. And let's see, how can we give one of these away? I got some ZF pouches to give away. What is your favorite thing? Tell me your favorite thing below that I put inside this pouch, and I'll pick one lucky winner to get a ZF pouch. I've got them in a bunch of colors, so I'll shoot out one of these to one lucky commenter. So just let us know in the comments down below what you'd put in yours. But that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. Everything I talked about in this pouch and in this video will be linked in the description down below. Those are affiliate links. If you click one and purchase anything, it helps support what I'm doing here. You can also go to patreon.com/bestdamnedc if you want to support there. But with that said, and until next time, carry on.